What is up, guys? Daddy Butter here with another Mobile Legends tutorial video. And today we're going to be talking about the battle spells. Battle spells. I don't quite have all the lingo down yet. I got this idea from actually talking to a subscriber and a friend in game. His game name is Yes or No, capital Yes, lowercase or, capital N, and then 0. All one word, no spaces. We were talking about all the hero spells and just what could be better. He was asking me some questions and I thought he's new to the game. He's not new so much to this game, but new to MOBAs in general. And so I thought, if he has these questions, a lot of you guys might have these questions. So I wanted to go over them with you guys and just talk about which ones are strong, which ones maybe aren't as strong, and which ones should be used on certain characters. So I really hope you guys get something out of this. And I hope, honestly, taking the right hero spell can definitely up your wins. You can increase in rank using them properly. And so this is a pretty important video, and it's a pretty important thing to know. And so I really hope that you guys get something out of this. And without further ado, let's jump into it. And we'll start with Execute here. So deals 240 to 800 points of true damage to a specified hero, and it grows with levels. So, the name says it all, Execute. You kind of want to use it as like a finishing, move or ability. And helps a lot early game, getting the kills. I would use this, obviously not on a tank or anything like that. But if you're in lane and you're playing a character that, benefits from some early kills, maybe an assassin or a mage, it's a good spell for that. I do like to use this on mages because I just feel like it's pretty strong on most mages. You could use it on like marksman type characters, like I said, assassins as well. For some assassins and any of those classes, there could be better spells. But if you ever don't know what to take, Execute is always kind of that like tried and true, easy one to do. Retribution. Retribution, basically, it's like Execute, but in the jungle on the jungle monsters. I personally find it to be completely useless. I don't use it. I never will. And yeah, I just don't really like it. I feel like even as a jungler, there are other battle spells that you can take that will be much stronger. So in my opinion, not one that I would ever use. But if you guys find use for it, hey, go for it. Fury. I really like Fury. You lower your own defense 20% and increase your attack speed 55%, physical attack 15%, and it lasts for 5 seconds. I use this on Mia. You could use it on pretty much any marksman. I find this to be mainly a marksman ability, but you could use it on, if you wanted to use it on an assassin, if you wanted to use it on a fighter or something, you definitely could. But personally, I find this to be best on marksman. If you have the right positioning and you're not taking a lot of damage, that 20% less defense doesn't mean anything. Your defenses are already low anyway. But the extra attack stats are massive, and you can definitely make use of them. So mostly a marksman thing for me, and I would highly recommend you guys give it a try. Assault. Increase your movement speed 42%. This effect fades slowly over 10 seconds. If you are going to be roaming, if you're going to be jungling, if you're going to be split pushing, this could be a very useful spell. Anytime that you are going to be playing in any style that is going to require you to be, fast, whether you're going to have to escape from a split push or, be fast getting into a lane for a gank, this could be a very useful spell. Personally, I don't use it very often. I feel like I can make up for it in other ways, but I could certainly see a use for it if you're going to be roaming or ganking or split pushing. Those would be the three things that I would consider this to be like a qualifying spell. Healing spell, regen 15% of your HP, and according to the number of nearby teammates, regens at most 15 HP for them, 15% HP for them. I only use this spell on Rafaela, and it's mainly because I want to accentuate the fact that she is a healer and just have more healing. It comes in really, really clutch. It's a strong spell. You can pretty much use it on anybody if you really wanted to. It's kind of like execute. Like if you don't know what to take and you really don't feel like you're going to use execute, take healing spell if you really don't know what else would work. Other than that, though, honestly, I feel like if you do know the character a little more, like in a deeper kind of way, you can probably figure out something better to use besides healing spell. But on Rafaela, I do take it every time. So it's one of those things you can find a use for it, but there may be something stronger. Just like in item builds, there can always be like a good healing spell, but you may not be using the absolute best one. So just because you are, using a certain character and maybe I say like something that makes you think about a different one, it doesn't mean that what you're using is bad. It just might not be the best. So healing spell, I feel like it could be that one for a lot of characters. It's good, but there may be something better. Interference silences turrets for 3 to 5 seconds and lowers their defense 10. So I have a bit to say about interference. This spell was totally broken earlier versions of the game, earlier patches. Now I feel like it is not nearly as strong, and in fact, one of the weaker battle spells in this list. The reason for that, they've nerfed it and they've indirectly nerfed it. So they nerfed it in that they upped the cooldown and they may have lowered the amount of time that it works. But I know that they upped the cooldown. Also, turrets take far, far less damage unless you have your own minions under it. So those two changes have made interference way, way less useful. I mean, it used to be that like you'd get a couple levels, you'd pop your interference, and if you had a buddy in lane with you, it was over. Like you could take that turret or you could kill anyone you wanted, and it's done. Now it is nowhere near that, and I truly, truly think that if you're someone who's using interference on a regular basis, you should certainly try some different spells because it is nowhere near what it used to be. And you are definitely putting yourself at a disadvantage because you could be using something far more effective. So until they make a change, hopefully they don't, because I honestly hated the way that it worked before. But if they do, you can go back to it. But at this point, I would not use it ever at all. Stun. Stuns all surrounding enemies for a half a second and puts them into a state of confusion for 1 second. Raising ability cost 100% and lowering movement speed. I love stun. I take it on every tank. I take it on every tank, and I also take it on Freya, because you can combo it with the rest of her kit and make it stupid. You can get 3 stuns in a row pretty easily. In my opinion, it should always be used on a tank. You could also use it on, along with Freya, you could also use it on Chow if you want to be a total jerk, and basically no one will ever get away from you ever again. Unless they're using the next spell, which is my favorite. But stun. If you're playing tanks, if you play tanks often, try using stun. It is a massive, massive difference. I think that there's no reason on God's green earth that you should not be using it. Other than that, I don't think it's good for a lot of other classes. But if you're a heavy, anyone who's heavy engage could make use of stun for sure. Purify, my absolute favorite spell in the game. Removes all negative effects and grants immunity from disables for 2 seconds and raises your movement speed by 30%. Purify, in my opinion, is the strongest spell on this list, and it is for this reason. The fact that this game is so CC heavy. If you guys don't know what CC means, it means crowd control. Stuns, slows, knock-ups, knockbacks, any of that stuff. The fact that you can't have any of that done to you, and it removes whatever may have already been done to you, along with increasing your movement speed, makes you very, very scary. I take this on most heavy engage characters except Freya, like I said, but if you play Alpha, try this. Use your ultimate, go into the middle of a team, and hit your Purify, and just watch as you melt the other team and they can't stop you. Anytime you're playing with a character that is going to be heavy engage, I can't imagine a better spell unless you're a tank and using stun. But any fighter class type characters, Purify is incredible, and I truly, truly think that everyone should be using it without a doubt. Weaken decreases a specified hero's movement speed 50% and their physical attack and magic power by 50%. Lasts 3 seconds. As you guys can see, this is a massively strong spell when used properly. Makes them half as strong and half as fast for 3 seconds. If you are actually one of the few people that plays a support, you could use this to help your other lane partner get kills so easily, because you can pop that on someone that they might be fighting, and then your presence there with whatever crowd control or healing abilities you might have. There's absolutely no way in the world, even if you're behind, that person is going to outtrade for that 3 seconds. And if your person can manage to do something with that 3 seconds, it's pretty much a done deal. That fight is over. So I really like Weaken. You can take it when you're supporting. I also have used it on Bane, because when you pop your ultimate and stuff, and if you can get someone trapped inside of that and you're fighting them, it's done. Especially like if you have his heal leveled up, you'll heal faster than they can do damage for that 3 seconds, because they only do half their damage. So I really do find Weaken to be a very strong spell. Maybe not something that I use all that often, but when it is used and used properly, it can be a game-changing type of spell. Flicker, very straightforward. You teleport a short distance. You can go over walls. You can, do all kinds of fancy stuff with it if you want. It is a very strong spell. I feel like this is something that you can use to reposition yourself and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, this spell can be pretty much like accounted for, as long as you don't put yourself in bad situations and you're very careful about where you go and your positioning all the time. However, there may be some characters, Mia, Layla, they're two very squishy characters that don't necessarily have a ton of mobility. Layla, of course, having less than Mia, and you could certainly use it on someone like that, and make it a good choice, just because they're not overly mobile, and you can definitely save yourself from some headaches by using this. But honestly, if you just focus on your positioning and work on being in the right place, you shouldn't need this spell very often. If you're using it for an engage or something like that, if you can't find a better way to engage than using Flicker, then go for it. But again, if you're in the right place at the right time, you shouldn't need it. So, that's my opinion on it. I know a lot of people like Flicker, and nothing against you guys. If that's what you like, totally understand. That's just my own personal beliefs on it. And Arrival. You teleport to a turret or minion after chanting for 3 seconds, and you're invincible when teleporting. Okay. This spell can either be the strongest spell in the game or the weakest, depending on how it is used. Now, how do you use it right, and how do you use it wrong? You should not be using this spell to get back into lane faster. Unless your turret is immediately threatened and going to go down unless you use it, you should not be using this to get back into lane. So that would be a wrong way to use it. Now, what is the right way to use it? The right way to use this spell is to have incredible map awareness, always knowing where your team is about to be, and knowing where the other team is, or to the best of your ability, knowing where they're probably going to show up. If you can do that, if you have that sort of map awareness, this is a game-changing spell, because you can always be popping up in areas that the other team is just not accounting you for, or popping up to, support in a team fight or something. But I know very few players that do have that sort of map awareness. And so if that is not you, and please just be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. If that is not you, this spell is not going to be nearly as effective as it could be. If this is something that you want to be using, you need to have the map awareness to use it. If you really do struggle with that, take something else. That's pretty much it. I'm not going to say it again because I'm just rephrasing it a different way. I just want to make sure that you guys understand how important it is to know your map and to know, the locations of people, because that's how this spell is intended. So that is all the battle spells, guys. I really hope you guys got something out of it. Hit me up in the comments. If you have any questions, let me know what battle spells you guys are using. Maybe I missed something. Maybe you guys know something that I don't because you've used a spell that I haven't used as much. But I stick to mainly Execute, Purify, and Stun. And I mix in Fury and Healing with very specific characters. But yeah, that's mainly what I do. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm not saying the way I do it is the best way. It's just what I've seen and my experience from previous games of this type as well. So hopefully you guys got something out of it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Show your friends, whatever you got to do. I don't know. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I am Daddy Butter, and I'll be talking to you guys again real soon.